Okay guys, this is going to be a video I'm going to put on YouTube on how to install the Turbo Farm Chad Dickey rear seat brace in a lot of our Grand Nationals. Apologize for any imperfections in the video. This is going to be a raw video. I'm not editing it or anything like that, but along with getting the brace and the instruction sheet, I'm going to attach this video on YouTube. So if you're like me, you like to see it actually being done. So this is what you're going to receive from me. You're going to receive a brace, a packet of 1/4 inch stainless steel structural rivets, and an instruction sheet. Okay, and this brace is 11 gauge steel. It's completely powder coated on front and back. It's already bent. It's got all the 13 holes already pre-drilled, and it's ready to go. Okay, everybody, I won't say everybody, quite a few people are aware that the Grand Nationals did not have this brace in the back seat. For whatever reason, Buick didn't do it, you know. So when they got sent over to be converted to GNXs, ASC decided, well, we should put one of these braces in. And this isn't anything that they invented. They just copied what GM was putting in other G bodies. Like, for example, my 87 SS has a factory brace in it. It's very similar to this. It's not as thick, it's not as heavy duty, but it is a brace. So ASC decided, hey, we need to get these braces in there, so they put them in the GNXs. And I guess if you figure back then what was GNXs, 325 horse or so, and 400 or 500 feet-foot of torque. Fast forward that now to 500 horsepower is slow, and we got wider tires and better tires, so there's a lot more stress on the body of these cars when we're out there fucking around. So it's imperative, in my opinion, to get this brace in your car, because we all know what happens when you don't. If you go by any cars and you see the cracks that are right up here on the roof line, that's from body flex. Okay, this brace is a body brace. It's not a suspension brace. It keeps the body from flexing. So there's 3 ways to install this. One, you can use nuts and bolts. You can pocket weld it, which I don't suggest, and then you can do it the way ASC did it and the way I did it, and that is using these rivets. These rivets are structural. They're massive rivets, and that helps you out because it's a one-man crew. You can do it by yourself. You don't have to have somebody underneath the car. They're very strong. Okay. In addition to the pop rivets, I strongly suggest using some type of adhesive. Now I use a 2-part epoxy adhesive from SEM, but it also requires a gun, and it's about $70 for a tube, and so you're wasting your money. So if you find a guy with a body shop that you can borrow his glue, just get a body panel adhesive. There's other adhesives on the market. There's like a 6000 that's a single stage adhesive. Just be cautious of whatever adhesive you decide to use. It doesn't have like a 5-minute work or set time, because if it's your first time doing it, there's a good chance it's going to set up before you're done. So when you get this brace, if you opt to not use adhesive, you're good to go. It's totally powder coated on front and back. If you want to use adhesive, you're going to flip it over on the back side, and you're going to use a little sanding disc like that, scuff it up at each hole. You'll see it as I go. I have already got this car up and ready to go, so it speeds up this video, but this is basically what you need to do. Okay, number one thing I do is I disconnect the battery. Okay, I don't want to take a chance of me hitting something or whatever. I disconnect the battery. I block the front wheel. Okay, the car has to be flat. Okay, I jack up the rear end. I take the tires off. It's mandatory. Take the tires off. It's 10 lug nuts. Take the tires off. You use blocks or use jack stands, whichever. You want, the purpose of this is to get your car as level as you can, and also let the suspension hang. The suspension has to be hanging. It can't have a jack under it. It can't have any pressure holding it up. It needs to be free floating. Okay, so I use a 6x6, a 4x4, and a 1x, and it levels the car out fantastic, and it works for me. When you put these blocks in, make sure that you space them out relatively close on each side. Don't put one up in front of the door on the driver's side and touching the fender trim on the passenger side. Make sure they're relatively even. set the rear end down, let it go. It's completely free. As you can see there, completely free. Hopefully, sunlight might be messing with you. Okay, completely free. All right. Any stereo equipment or anything you got back here, get it out of there. If you have the Dennis Kerbin bars, take them out. Okay, throw them away. This particular guy in this car, whoever had it before him, made some shit, and in his install, he did a lot of damage back here by bending and smashing and stuff. So I think we got it corrected. But anyway, let's get in with the install. What you need to remove. Remove the sill plate. Okay. Remove the B-pillar plastic trim. Climb in the car here. You're going to remove the third brake light housing and bracket. You're going to remove the carpet package tray. And be careful when you're pulling this out. 90% of them have already been out and they're already broken in the middle. But take your time. Okay. Before you take this tray out, you're going to need to take this quarter trim here off. You have to remove that screw up there and let that hang a little bit. Be careful. I take the screws out down below and kind of let it come out so I can fish that trim piece out. Okay. Once that's out, now you're taking your package tray out. Take the seat out, the upper and lower seat. Be very careful on these nuts, or I'm sorry, on these seatbelt bolts, because some people have, used a T50 and used a hammer and beat the shit out of them, and so be careful not to strip them. Okay, so that's what needs to be removed. You can see everything. I'm going to back out of here slow, show you that I've all taken out, just as a recap. So you got your third brake light, hardware, carpeted package tray, sill plate, B-pillar, your upper quarter round trim, and your seats. Okay, so I am going to pause this video right now. I'm going to get the brace in, show you what you need to do to align it, and then we'll continue on. Stand by. Yep. All right, so now that like I said, I've gotten a lot of this done already, so that you guys aren't watching me for an hour, put this in an hour and a half. So once everything's out and you're doing your initial fit, you're going to come up here and you're going to see that this oval is very similar to that oval, right? Because that's one of 3 locations you have to look at, okay, for alignment. Excuse me. So you're going to come in here and you're going to kind of put your finger in there and feel it. All right, I can feel that it's pretty flush. You're also going to look at both sides over here, right? So you don't want it to be hitting one fender on one side and a 1/4 inch gap on the other side. You want to split it, okay? So those are your 3 focal points on alignment. Up here, that side, and that side. You can see that I've removed some body filler here, okay? With seam sealer. The reason why I did that is because you want your brace sitting as flat as you can on these metal contact points, okay? So they came in here, and some of them don't need it, but majority of them need. Just come in with the razor. Don't take off more than you need to. What's easy for me is I come in, once I get this aligned, okay, and I'm down here. Like I said, I'm just mocking this up kind of quickly so you can tell what I did. So you're coming in here, and you got to use good clamps. No rubber bullshit from Harbor Freight, okay? They got to be vice grip style, hardcore clamps, okay? So I'm just gonna, like I said, I'm just mocking this right now so you can tell what I did. So this point, each side of the feet, you don't need to get a micrometer out, just eyeball it and feel it, okay? None of these in these cars are straight. They're all at a little bit of an angle. I don't know why, but it is what it is, okay? Once you get this here, you're gonna come in with a marker, a scratch all or whatever, and you're gonna come down here and make a mark. Up here, make a mark, come down, mark, and that. So then you'll take don't drill yet, do not drill yet, okay? So you're gonna come down, you're gonna take this down, get it out of here. You're gonna come in now, you'll see where your mark is, right? You need to remove that. You need to remove that, okay? Make sure all your speaker wires are out of the way here, okay? Now you're gonna come up, now that you got the sitting flat, the next part that you have to look at is each side has this, oblong cutout, right? And it's stamped steel. Some cars that I've done, you want this top lip sitting right underneath this. You don't want it up on here because then that's going to keep you from your spots. Very few cars it fits perfect. Most of them, I take a pair of pliers like this and I just come in here and I lightly come along and just slowly bring it up, okay? And you might have to do this 1 or 2 times before you get it right, okay? What you don't want to do is not do this and drop this to compensate that, because now you're throwing everything off. This, if it's hitting, just come in here with a little pair of pliers on both sides, okay? Now, once you got everything where you think you want it, everything looks great, you're below. Like I said, I'm just going quick here to mock this up. You're gonna come in with your clamps. And like I said, clamp the shit out of this, okay? Do not go weak on these clamps. You can see these are long reach. If you don't have them, maybe a buddy, you can borrow them, go to a body shop or whatever. Now you're gonna come in here and you're gonna really come down on this. You can feel me. You can see how far that is. See how that's all sitting flat right there? That's what you want, okay? Do the same thing on the other side. You're gonna come in, you're gonna clamp it. Okay, everything looks great. So I've already drilled this already, so you know what I'm doing here. So now that everything's in, this is good, that's good, that's good, this is good, and this is good. Now you can clamp. You should be putting another clamp in here as well, okay? Now you're gonna come in. Wow. Now you're gonna come in and drill, okay? Take your time when you drill. I'm gonna put this disclaimer out here. If you have something running underneath your floorboard, fast fuel, I don't know, some speaker wire shit, it's your responsibility to know what you're drilling into. If it's a stock car and you don't have any aftermarket stuff, these holes are perfectly fine. They're where they need to be. So it's your responsibility to see what you have on the other side of this. These bottom two and these bottom two are actually penetrating your floor pan, and that's where you get your strength. The problem with the Dennis Curbin bars is you're going from here to here, you're going here to here, but you're bracing all the weak shit with more weak shit. So the purpose is to, just like framing a house, when you put up walls, if you're going to leave them, you put a brace down to the subfloor, right? Similar here, you're coming in, you're going into the subfloor. This shit here, I can move it. So that's the purpose. So once you get all your holes drilled, make sure everything's good, all right? You are going to want to leave your drill and drill bit in here, just in the case that you're starting to put your rivets in and you have to hone one out, okay? It could happen. So have it in here, have it ready. Whatever adhesive you want to use, make sure you have some work time so it's not setting up on you before you get it done. When it comes to rivets, these are 1/4 inch, like I said before, 1/4 inch stainless steel rivets. I put them in with the pneumatic rivet gun. This is about 125, 130 bucks at Harbor Freight. If you're only doing it one time, maybe borrow one from a buddy, or you can buy the big manual ones for Harbor Freight for about 30 bucks, 40 bucks. Very, very, very important to check your rivet gun prior to installing, so that way you're not all in here and then realize that your tip isn't big enough and it won't fit them. Go to Harbor Freight or Ace Hardware, get some aluminum 1/4 inch rivets and do a test run, make sure they work on something else, okay? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this down, because we've drilled it, we've cleaned it, we've lifted these lips, everything is good, it's all drilled. I strongly, strongly, strongly suggest using adhesive. So I'm going to show you what the back looks like. And don't worry about marring this powder coat up, because you're never going to see it once the seat's back on. Okay, so all these are off. Should make sure the speaker wires stay out of the way. So this is what I did. I came in after I drilled my holes. I got my marks right. All my marks, I know where to go, so I'm not grinding more than I need to. I'm coming in, I'm hitting all the high spots. No sense hitting a low spot, because you're gonna have to build up an inch or half an inch of glue. Hit the spots. This is the most pivotal right here, because this is the weakest part of the car. See that? That's why these cars get cracks all over the place. So I came in here, came down like a T, came in here, same thing on this side, hit them all. Back of my brace, I did the same thing. Okay, so I went along. This is not the top, but I will flip it over, hopefully. Okay, went across the top, came down here, 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 here. All my screws, or all my rivet holes in the high spot. So that's what it needs to look like. Make sure you grind the back side. This is the back side. Don't grind the front side. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and pause it, and I'm gonna get the glue on and come in here. We're gonna start recording again when we're riveting. Pause. Okay, as you guys can see here, we have the glue already in here. I used a little putty knife type thing. You can use whatever you want. Put it on, you can wipe off the excess. Glue's on. So now we've got everything's drilled, everything's ready to go. We're going back up here, okay? We're gonna take some rivets. We're gonna put in our already pre-drilled holes. So we can just basically self-align it, okay? Now you can kind of let it hang there. You want to come in, put a couple on the bottom, self-align it. Okay. Now you're going to come in with these clamps. You're going to start clamping. Put a couple more rivets in just to center. Make sure you're good to go. See how I said keep your drill in here. You might need to ream one out. All right, now it's pretty self-leveled here. So I'm going to come in. I'm going to clamp the shit out of it. Do it as hard as you can. Come in with this one. Same thing. Here. Okay, you're still good. Check your rivets. It looks great. You might have to move this once you get these three in and then reclamp it and do the last one. Same thing here. Now, with this brace here on this car, we had those aftermarket or those homemade braces kind of screwed this up. So we're going to have to work on this after we get everything done. Normally, you would come in, clamp this, and drill these holes, okay? But we got to do a little tweaking because whoever the moron was to put those in there push this shit back way farther than it needed to be. So anyway, we're clamped here, right? We're clamped all along the four, so all we're missing is these two. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm working with some pretty quick glue, so I'm going to get clamping, okay? Apologies, I forgot this clamp, so I'm going to get in here. I would strongly suggest finding a pneumatic air riveter from somebody, borrow it. So right now we're going to pause it, and then I'm going to show you. I got to move this. Well, hold on a second. Don't pause it yet. I'm going to move this up here. I'm going to come in. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in, like I said earlier, whoever had this before pushed this out. I'm going to come in and put all my clamps on here and try and bring it back and put some more rivets in here. But normally you won't have that problem unless the same goofball that did this got a hold of your car. But as you can see, these marks, see how that it sits underneath that lip on both sides? It's fantastic. If you want to come back in and bend that down, just make it look perfect. No one's going to know. Okay, so you're good here. All your rivets are in. Now we're gonna take these down and we're gonna address this issue right here. So go ahead and pause it. Pause. Like I mentioned before, this is not normal. I've probably installed 100 of these and I've never had the centerpiece pushed back so far. So we're trying to bring that back. So instead of 13 holes, I came in, double clamped it to suck that back, and I put 2 more holes in here. So this is a little bit of modification. You can do this if you happen to have the same problem, but you shouldn't need to, as long as nobody got in there and fucked with it, okay? So I'm going to come in. I've already drilled those. And another thing I forgot to mention, after you're drilling all your holes, before you get in here, go to the back side and clean them up. Don't go crazy with the drill bit because it's so thin. You can, you know, with the larger drill bit, if you put a 3/4 inch drill bit on there to clean up the burrs, you could blow through that very quickly, and then now your hole's too big for your pop rivet. So just either take a little file, take a piece of heavy duty sandpaper, but be careful. But you need to go on each of your holes that are up here you can see and drill the and sand the back. Okay, get those burrs out of there. So we're going to do our best here, and this is the best we can do. So if in fact you have a situation like that, you can call me, I guess, and I can send you some more rivets, but these rivets are expensive. You can probably order them online or give me a call. Every instruction sheet's going to have my phone number on it. If you have any questions, call me before you do it. I've only had one guy screw up the install. He sent me pictures and he was about right down here with the top of this brace. So as long as you follow the instructions, watch this video, call me with any questions. It's not that big of a deal, but you might run into some goofy things here or there. If by chance you have a brace like this, a GNX style brace like this that you bought back in the day from somewhere and it's thinner, I've had guys say, oh, I want to take that out and I want to put yours in. And you're not going to be able to do that because our holes are going to be so close to the same. So if you have an old one, just leave it in there. It is what it is. But if you have the X braces or any hacked up backyard shit, get rid of it and put this in, but follow the instructions. I'll take these off real quick. That is not moving. That is as big and badass of a brace that you can get. It is the best one on the market, guaranteed. If you have any questions, give me a call. Hope you enjoyed this video and I hope it helps you out. Thanks a lot.